up everyone? Welcome back to Heja BVB TV. My name's Harris and it's finally the start of the Bundesliga season where Dortmund will be facing St.Pauli away on Saturday. And today we're going to talk about St.Pauli as opponents, their tactics, their strengths, their weaknesses, and then as well as predicting Dortmund starting 11 and as well as the final game result. However, I first want to talk about Couto's injury that happened on the DFB Pokal first round. Couto had to suffer a horrible tackle on him against Essen in DFB Pokal. He looked like he was in a lot of pain and it was a reckless tackle. I don't know how it was only a yellow card. But we actually have some good news here. He has now provided an update on the condition of his leg, saying that he could possibly be in contention for Dortmund's Bundesliga opener against St.Pauli, which is great. Even though Dortmund didn't play great or it was a pretty lackluster game, Couto had some few shining moments there. That was the latest news and update on the Couto's injury. Now let's talk about the actual game. It is absolutely true that St.Pauli are a dangerous opponent, especially facing them away from home and especially on the first day of the season. So let's try to talk about the tactics, their strengths, their weaknesses that Dortmund can exploit. The whole game of St.Pauli is that they are playing a very good defensive line, low block, that pushes the attackers away on the flanks, which is then easier to defend. And then when the opponent loses the ball, in this case it will be Dortmund, when Dortmund lose the ball or mess up or something, they will go on the counter-attack, and that's where they're dangerous, in the transitions. Essen is a prime example where the Essen defense played a great low block, good strong defensive line that made Dortmund play on the flank, and then on their counter-attack made Dortmund look weak. So I don't think it will be a pretty game for Dortmund. I think there will be a lot of dangerous chances that St.Pauli creates. However, St.Pauli's strengths and game plan is on the counter-attack and in the transition game. Their weakness also lies on their strengths. This is because they sometimes force their fullbacks to attack. It leaves the flanks very open and leaves a lot of space for Dortmund's wingers like Couto, like Adeyemi and all of them, right? So if Dortmund can exploit those moments and exploit those areas, then Dortmund will have a good chance. But we have seen against Essen that Dortmund struggled with this. So we'll see how it will play out. So I think this game will be a lot about Dortmund's own individual qualities, not so much about tactics. That's why I'm saying games like Essen, where Guirassy had a phenomenal individual performance, is where Dortmund's strengths and will probably rely on. And as far as the starting 11, let's talk about it. I think there's no question in goal, it will be Kobel. And then the three defenders in front of him will probably Ben Sabini, Anton. And I think Ryerson will start this game. But I really want Filippo Mane. He played very good against Essen. He was a very seasoned professional 17-year-old, you know. Actually, I'm gonna put Mane in there. Then in the midfield on the left is going to be Svensson. I don't think there's anyone debating that. In the three midfield, I believe it's going to be Nemecha, maybe Job, and then also Gross. And then on the right, instead of Couto, I think it'd be Ryerson. I don't know how bad the injury was or how good it was. But I think Kovac is not going to take risk with him, so he will start with Ryerson there. And then the attacking two, Guirassy is obvious one. The question is if Bayer or Adeyemi will start. Bayer didn't have that great of a game against Essen and St.Pauli are kind of similar opponents here. So maybe he will switch it up and use Adeyemi instead. As for the final score, I believe Dortmund is going to win the opening game of the season in the Bundesliga with a narrow 2-1 victory. I believe what will decide this game is some individual performances. Guirassy will maybe get a goal, will probably get a goal. And as far as the man of the match, I think this game will be relying on Joe Bellingham. That was my preview and analysis of Dortmund's first game against St.Pauli. How do you think the match will end? Do you think St.Pauli is gonna win? Do you think Dortmund will have a howler? Let's hope not. But leave your own opinions in the comments. I will be doing a live watch along during the game, so you're free to join. And remember, like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video or live stream if you're there.